Welcome, everybody, to the very first Can I Kick It podcast brought to you by USA Taekwondo. I am one of your hosts, Sherman Nelson, and who better to kick it with in the inaugural Kickation than none other than the incomparable CJ Nickolas. I'm going to add all of those sound effects in post. CJ, thank you for taking time out of your schedule today. I know you had to train today, then get home and get here. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
we got a lot to talk about.
we sure do.
You got a couple things going on in your life there, buddy, huh?
Yeah, I live an exciting life.
You do live an exciting life. And USA Taekwondo is grateful to have you be a part. And we wanna share as much of our athletes with our membership so that you can understand why we love them like we do and how can we support them in this upcoming Olympic year. All right, so we're talking Olympics. So USA Taekwondo sent you something, so go ahead and check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
In the spirit of Willy Wonka.
Congratulations, CJ Nickolas. You are qualified to compete at the 2025 Olympic Games.
So it is your golden ticket.
Dang, I have a literal ticket. That's
You
fine.
literally have a golden ticket.
Yeah.
We're going to give you the hard copy. We're going to frame it for you so
Yeah.
that you can keep it for posterity.
Aw,
It is your
dang.
first Olympic Games.
Yes.
And so you'll be able to put it on your wall with all the other accolades. But let's just start there. How does it feel knowing that you're qualified for the Olympic Games?
I don't think it's really set in yet. I think that it's going to take a while. I have more work to do right now. Obviously, we have the Grand Prix final in a week, or it's in a little over a week. But yeah, that's the goal right now. Me and my coach have really harped on the fact that the job isn't done and it's just getting started. And this is a pivotal step to, competition leading up to the Olympics.
Right.
Ending this year correctly. So, I mean, when I look at this golden ticket, and when I'm getting the praise from everybody, it makes sense. It makes sense in my head,
Right.
that I'm prepared for this moment, and I've worked. Like, it adds up. It adds up to me.
Okay.
But I don't think emotionally I've hit that point yet of understanding that I'm going to the Olympics.
Yeah, I can understand that. And you are a person who is a young man who's very self-aware, very emotionally intelligent. And I know you, and I know you haven't allowed yourself to jump all the way into that pool yet because we have a significant competition coming in the next 10 days.
Yeah.
And jumping in that pool could possibly have you look past an event.
Right.
And I understand, and we respect that so much. We wanted to, on behalf of our CEO and all the leadership, we wanted to mark this moment with you. And we did that earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Not celebrate the moment and kind of make the distinction that we want to acknowledge the fact that you did the first job, which is because you can't win the games if you don't go to the games.
Right. Exactly.
But we're not celebrating going to the games. We're going to celebrate, and you all have no idea what y'all going to see when he wins the Olympic Games.
Boy,
it is going to be Parisian pandemonium. I'm
I'm
just
not-
trying to tell you.
When I win, I promise you I'm not getting off the mat for another 20 minutes.
Now, and we coming over all barriers, barricades.
Absolutely.
The French police are going to be like,
Yep.
you must get over the wall. We're going to be like, you better go and chill
Yep.
because we are excited. But we do want to celebrate you and not the moment and get you ready. But let's take it back. So that's where we are right now, 2023. I want our membership to understand that in 2020 at the Olympic, when we had the Olympic fight-offs and the Olympic qualifying events in Costa Rica, you weren't even fighting 80 then.
No, I had just moved up. I was I started my senior career as a minus 68, and that was in late 2018 going into 2019, and then at the start of 2020 I had to make a decision. It was at the whatever that last event. I think it was the Grand Prix, like the U.S. Grand Prix or
The-
whatever.
Okay.
Grand Slam.
The Grand Slam we used to have those in Colorado.
Yeah, yeah,
The
right.
one ring.
Yes.
Yeah, those were dope too.
So-
And they're coming back.
Okay. What happened? Oh, I went to make weight for 68 at that event, and it just wasn't happening. And so that was kind of the last event that they could look at and say, all right, who are we choosing? What divisions are we choosing to take to the Olympics? And I had a really important decision. I could either try to make it to the Olympics in 68, which was kind of a shoo-in, like I was getting the success that I needed, or make a big jump up to minus 80, because there was no going in the middle. It was either I'm going 68 or I'm going 80, and see where I land with that. And so, yeah, right after that event was when they chose what divisions were going to the Olympic qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
So I still had a chance, but I was not going to be going to the Olympic qualifier. I had no experience in minus 80, and honestly, a lot of people didn't believe that I could fight in that big division.
Right.
Because
Because you were a 68.
Yeah, I was
and
68.
it's not a small jump.
No.
To transition from one Olympic weight, especially in males,
Yes.
from one weight to another, it's not I did 68 last week, I can do 80 this week.
Absolutely.
The game is very different.
That's exactly what I did. I turned around, and my first event as a minus 80 was the Turkish Open, and it was like my first or my second match. I fought Azerbaijan, Milad Hershigani, and I took him deep into the third round, and I lost a close match, right? And from that point, I was like, I understood what I was missing out on for the majority of my career, and it was the enjoyment of fighting and being able to focus on what I'm doing in the ring rather than, training to cut weight or trying to manage that and not enjoying, the travel that I get to do and not really being able to understand my growth in the game. I don't think that I was growing in the game when I was a 68, which is why it took so long for me to get success. And I wasn't getting the success that I should have been getting because I wasn't focused on the goal, which was winning. I was focused on making weight and then surviving fights.
Yeah, wow, that's a really important point, and I'm glad you said it. Because you can't enjoy the place if all you focus on is getting to the place.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you got to 80 where making weight is not a daily struggle. We're not cutting our hair. We're not doing all this stuff that people have to do, these drastic, draconian measures. And then you get out there and actually go, oh yeah, this is why I started doing Taekwondo when I was little, because we fighting.
Exactly.
And we like fighting.
Right.
Yeah, we have to, and I think that's important for our younger athletes to understand. And this is why coaches harp on it. We have to manage the process to get to so that we can get all the enjoyment out of the moment. And that can't happen if I have to wake up every morning and wonder, did I lose enough weight in my sleep? Am I sleeping properly? No, you should be, am I getting enough rest?
Yeah.
And then am I waking up refreshed? And so I'm glad that you were able to learn that lesson. But again, 2020, coming into 80, 2023, number 2 in the world. Come on, bro.
It's kind of crazy.
Come on, bro. We wildin'. We out here in minus 80 wildin'.
Yeah.
You don't come from no points to number 2. That's not an easy thing to do. And so that's why we want to celebrate you for it, because that's a journey. Let's talk about how you do that. You're training as a part of the academy.
Yes.
2 of the best coaches in the world. You have the teammates, you have the support, you have the funding. Talk about this journey from entering 80 to dominating 80. Because, people say, well, he's not number 1. And I would say, sounds like an absolute person who has never done this sport.
Straight up.
Because we're about to be number 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's happening.
So talk a little bit about that journey. What went into getting 2020 CJ into 2023 CJ?
Okay, so initially, the first thing that was going through my head was I can't just let myself go and start eating crazy and my nutrition and the balance be off. As soon as I decided to move up to minus 80 and I had to talk with Garrett, it was in the center of excellence, and I it's like a core memory for me because it was a pivotal moment in my career. And he said, if you're doing this, you're not going up to 74, you're going up to 80. You're doing this correctly. You're building muscle, you're doing everything that you have to do, and we're fighting every time we get into the ring. So that's going to be our focus from now on. And I was like, all right. So that's exactly what we did. I started fighting. We started going to the, I think I went to the Swedish Open, went to the President's Cup, won my first G1 there, and started getting a little bit of success, and I was feeling the difference. And then went to that Costa Rica Open and the Olympic trials and watched that unfold, and it hurt a lot, you know, watching that moment slip away, and I could only just like look from the crowd, you know, and I think that replayed in my head for all of COVID. That, and then I also had lost in the semifinals or the quarterfinals to Moises Hernandez from Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Those two things during training were stuck in my head. I think I'm a little mentally somewhere else.
Okay.
I think I have like an obsession with this sport or with something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I am obsessed with something in this sport.
And it's probably true of many high-performing athletes, and we know some, and we know of many.
All right.
I can imagine LeBron, in 20 years of playing in the NBA, was singularly focused. Kobe says it in his book, that he was singularly focused on being the absolute best basketball player in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's a requirement. If you're going to climb this mountain, and this mountain is perilous, it's got ditches, it's got ravines, it's got loose rocks, and you'll think you're almost there, and you hit a loose rock and fall back 6 levels.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to put everything else aside and stay mission focused.
Yeah.
Be like, listen, until I get to the top, we just don't stop.
Straight up.
And I hope that is a trait that we can start to identify in more athletes and nurture.
That's what it is.
And
I
develop
think that,
it.
yeah. I was just having this conversation yesterday. I think that with like talent ID and stuff that we're doing, I like it. I like that athletes are getting the opportunity to be able to showcase themselves, because when you think about it, when you get to the highest level, you're putting on a show for people, and you have all these people around you, and so you have to be well under that pressure, and you have to enjoy that pressure, because that's the type of people that we want. We want people that enjoy the moment. You get me?
That's why we're bringing the Grand Slam back.
Right.
Because it was pressure.
Yes.
It was one ring. It was all
lights,
dark.
cameras, yeah.
And when you walked out, everybody was sitting 3 feet from the ring, and they looking right at you. And they like, yeah, he about to trash you, cuz. And you like, no, he's not. No, he isn't.
You can hear everything.
You can hear everything. You'd be like, he's scared of you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. And the moment you start answering the crowd, you're not singularly focused.
Yeah. There were moments where I actually did answer the crowd too.
Oh, of course. Listen, it got rowdy.
Yeah, it did.
It got rowdy, and that again. But that's the kind of energy that helps us to identify who wants to be in that moment.
Exactly.
Because World Championships is a pressure. At the core, it's just Taekwondo.
Yeah.
But the pressure of it makes it more than Taekwondo.
Yes.
The Olympics, it's the same bacha, it's the same kick cover, but the pressure of it.
So if you can perform under that pressure.
If you get used to that pressure early, we'll understand who's diamonds and who's pipes. Because pressure has 2 different outcomes.
Right.
It makes diamonds in some, it busts pipes in others.
Yes.
So
the point that I was trying to make is that I don't think that we should be looking for kids or even adults that are fight ready, that are Olympic ready, because I don't think there's many of those people in the U.S. You know, when I first came into this program, I was not ready to win a G2. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so I think that if we start looking at the heart of the athletes, and that's really what it is, looking at the heart of the athletes and the passion that they have for the sport. That's when with the foundation that we already have set now we have the time and the space and the coaches and what we need to be able to build the skill, because anybody can build the skill. Anybody can have the skill to be where I'm at. It is the heart and the passion for what you're doing that makes a difference.
Yep. Fundamentally, every single one of us started as white belts.
Yes.
We had to learn Chayet, Kunye, Dumbi. We had to learn all of that. But what differentiates the person?
Is the work. The work, bro.
The work and the will.
Yeah.
Are you willing to impose yourself on that octagon, on that person? And no matter the outcome,
Yeah.
I will never stop trying. So there's so many intangible things that I think we need to get to. And you segue right into where we are, because now you're training in North Carolina. We're in the beautiful city of Charlotte. We have the academy, and the academy has a facility. We have 4 rings. We have coaches. We have Gareth. We have Paul. We have Stephen Lambden, another 2016 Olympian. You have support services. Emily gets it all together for us. We have nutrition services. We have strength and conditioning. We have sports psychologists who comes and watches training.
Facts.
Just to stay acutely aware of where the athletes are. You have all of that. What role does all of that play in fostering and keeping the flame going with that desire you talked about?
Okay, so the way I think about it, so prior to this, I mean, I went through the inception of the academy, and prior to that, I went through a lot of my training and preparing for events was kind of by myself.
Right.
When I was at home as a teen, as a young kid, I grew up with a lot of monsters in the game that beat the crap out of me all the time, and then they all moved away, and it was kind of just me. Like I was the last one for me, and so I did the work to get where I had to be in the moment with little to nothing. And then I got a little bit more. Okay, now we have the center, and we have Gareth. He came over, and we have a coach now. So now I'm building with that, but we don't have all the other stuff that we have out here in North Carolina. So I think over time I built an appreciation for the fact that I didn't have much before. And now that we have everything that I could possibly think of, I can't complain. You get me? And what that means is I can remember the times that I didn't have anything, and appreciate now that I can just purely focus on me and focus on working as hard as I can, because everything else is like I'm being guided at this point. Like all I have to do is focus on how hard I'm working and applying myself to everything that I do. And as long as I do that, everything else is work. I don't have to think about anything else. Before, I had to think about my recovery. I had to think about my scheduling. I had to think about my own mental health. I had to think about like my family and everything outside of it. And now it's all compact, one place, and everything is figured out for me. So, I mean, almost everything, but like...
Yeah, we still working on a couple things.
when I don't have everything figured out. I don't have most things figured out. But what I do know is that if I go inside of training and I work 100% to what my coach or coaches are telling me, that I'm going to get what I want.
Okay, and that's fair, and we recognize that, and we've seen in the last couple of years, you can do all of that work and still not get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you definitely can't get it without doing the work.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can do the work and still come up short, but you will inevitably and always come up short without the work.
Yeah. I don't entirely believe that. I think that a lot of people aren't truthful with themselves about how much work they're putting in. I haven't always been truthful with myself, and that's the journey that I'm going on right now, is the accountability. And you can go deep with that, because it's like you have to be a sponge for everyone else's information that's coming in. So I can't just be accountable for what I think I'm doing when I'm looking in the mirror, or even if I'm not looking in the mirror, I'm just looking in the first person, right? Stay with me, right? So if I'm doing Pumse and I think I'm killing it, I'm hitting everything hard, right? And then I go over to my coach, and my coach is like, yeah, well, you messed up a lot. Then I'm like, nah, but I did it really good. So like, I think that I did it really good, and I think that I'm trying really hard, But there's people that care about you that are telling you from the outside that you could be doing more or you could be doing it differently. That's so hard to get over because you think you're trying so hard and you think that you're at this peak, and then someone tells you that there's a ceiling on top of that ceiling.
Okay.
And so that's where I'm at right now, is trying to be as accountable as possible, and seeing what I'm doing from an outside point of view without being too critical of myself. Because there is a balance of the two. I have to give myself grace where grace is due, but at the same time, you know,
Hold yourself accountable.
yeah, I gotta hold myself.
I think that's an honest point. There is working hard and working well.
Yes.
And we think that if I worked hard, it must be good work.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's like, as a trainer, I would encounter clients and they'd be like, but I'm really sweaty. I know, but you're sweaty because you just sweat easily.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, sweat doesn't always equal
Work
efficiency.
equity, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sweat equity and work equity are sometimes different. And I think it's, again, important for young athletes to understand that, to grow into knowing that I want to go as hard as I can go, as right as I can go, for as long as I can go.
Yes, exactly. And so with that, that's where I'm like, once I get on the ring, it's my decision at that point. Do I want to win on that day? Yes or no? Every time that I've gotten in the ring this year, it's been a decision, and that's where I'm saying, like, I'm not perfect, and I'm still working the kinks out because I haven't decided to win everywhere. When I was at Pan Am Games, this is a prime example. The Pan Am Games versus World Championships, right? When I was at the World Championships, I was healthy, I was happy, I was in a great place mentally. I had my coach in my chair. It was a beautiful moment. I was going into the finals, and I was just ready for it. You know me? Going into the final at the Pan Am Games, injuries, didn't want to be there. I was tired. Feel me? Like I didn't want to get up. I felt frail. I felt like achy and weak. The difference between the mentality of the two, like, that's where I'm trying to figure out how to pull it out of myself right now, is when I was good and healthy and happy, I couldn't decide to win, maybe because of a fear of failure when I'm at my peak, when I feel my best.
That's good. That's good.
Right. Rather than when I was at the Pan Am Games and I was struggling and I didn't even think that I was going to win. That was when I performed how I did what I needed to do to win. You feel me?
That's fair.
So I don't know what God has in store for me from that perspective. I don't know if it works out where I don't have to figure that out. I don't know if I get to the Olympics and I get injured in a quarterfinal and I have to work with like something weird for the rest of the day so I don't have to deal with that. Or if I get to the Olympics and I feel completely fine all day and I have to decide every match if I want to win or not. Every round, every 30 seconds, every second, every exchange. You feel me?
I think you answered your own question. And we talk a lot about faith, and we are men of faith, unashamedly. And the word says, Joshua told the children of Israel, choose you this day who you gonna serve. When you get to those points in matches, you must choose. Do you want to win? Yes. Do you want to work to win? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to risk it all to win? Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take a second place, bro.
But you've got but then you got to be cool with a silver.
Yeah.
You got to be cool with a bronze. You got to be cool with not getting the thing you wanted.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go away. And this is how I know that sport is preparing you for life, because that's every day. With my children, with my wife, with my job, everything. Do you want to? My daughter asked me today, Daddy, can you come outside? I can do this new trick with my bike. Baby, I'm in the middle of making notes. Okay. So let me put my notebook down.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the father that I need to be. The notes, I can go off the dome.
Yeah.
Hey, let me come outside. I can stand up on my bike while I pedal. So I applaud you riding up and down the street.
Yeah.
And she comes in, her cup of love is full and it's overflowing. Got to make those decisions every day. And so it's, however it plays out, you're going to have to decide.
Yeah.
And that's accepting that is the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, accepting that is the win.
Yeah. I got it. It's the fact that you have to do it over and over again. That's the thing. It's not just a
consistency.
Do I want to win before I get into the ring? It's
yeah.
Do I want to win when I'm in the depths? And then I'm still in the depths. Do I still want to win? Do I still want to win? For Forever. It doesn't stop.
It doesn't. It does, because it starts in training.
Yeah.
The morning you wake up and you don't really feel like getting up. Do I want to win?
Yeah.
Yes. Then go brush your teeth, put your stuff on, and let's get to training. So it is a life of good decisions, consistency. We are what we consistently do, not what we do on one shots. And you have demonstrated a life of, I've watched you grow, and you're fundamentally the same young man who's growing and becoming, but you are, that baby face is still in there, the smile is still there, the love of the game is still there, and that's what we appreciate. So shout out to your parents. Shout out to Denise and Ed on the job they did. You had goons around you, TJ, you had people that were working with you to help you get better. Shout out to everybody who has contributed to helping one of our young athletes become who he's supposed to be. And while we're celebrating that, let's not forget the work, because we have some more that we need to develop. All right, listen, bro, this is going to end part 1, because we're going to come back to a part 2. But we're going to end with a little special thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can't do Drink Champs. Shout out to Noriega. He has a podcast called Drink Champs, and he brings guests on, and they talk about a variety of things, and he gives them choices, this or that. And if they can't make the choice, they have to take a shot. Well, we don't do the alcohol, but we do have Sour Patch Kids.
Word, okay.
Yes, so we're going to play Snack Champs.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to give you a scenario, and you choose, you can, sir, you can't eat them just because.
Word. Okay.
See these?
I understand now.
Yeah, I don't know that you do. I really don't know that you do. All right, so I'm going to give you 2 options. You can choose one. If you can't choose, you got to eat a Sour Patch Kid. All right? Now, your tongue is swelling up because you ate a whole handful, and that's what you get. All right, so here we go. KP&P or Dado?
KPP.
Wow. All right.
Come on now.
Werewolves or vampires?
Team Edward. Give me the vampire.
I don't know what that means.
The Twilight. Don't
Okay.
worry about it.
That's the little glittery vampires? Yeah, they glittered.
Okay.
That's why I didn't
All
watch
right.
that. Physical health or mental health?
Ooh.
Sour Patch.
I feel like, because I'm just going to get into like this rant about how they coincide, so.
Okay, all right. Paul Green or Gareth Brown? Yeah, I'm choosing violence today. We're choosing violence. All right. Sour Patch it up. Shout out to both coaches. Ask for permission or ask for forgiveness?
Ooh. Boy, people not going to like my answers.
Bro, that's why we're doing it. Real talk.
Ask for permission or ask for forgiveness? I feel like the child in me is saying ask for forgiveness because that's what I've done for most of my life. So we gonna roll with that. Ask for forgiveness.
Okay. Pickle flavored ice cream or bacon scented candles? Neither. Okay.
Don't be like that.
Classical music or jazz?
Oh.
This is because I know what your room looks like. So I've seen the discographies on the wall.
Man, I'm gonna be overweight. I can't.
And now I'm gonna get a reprimand from Steve, right? Spend or save?
Spend. I'm gonna go spend after I get out of here too.
Listen,
You see these?
that okay.
Got
That,
the Prada Yachtas on, boy.
that dude had me walk around Paris.
Don't play with me.
My shoes fell apart. We
Spend.
went to every store in Paris.
Spend.
Mac Dre or E40?
E40, come on now.
Yeah, shout out to the Bay. We do a little different. We from the Bay, so we dance a little different. All right, here's the final one. Denise or Christian?
What? Why you? Mommy, I love you. Christian, I love you.
Just eat all of the rest of the South bag. Yeah, just take the whole bag. Yes, because he's not gonna make that was why we ended with that choice, because that's not a choice. That's a win on both sides. Listen,
My family, love the game.
thank you again for taking the time. This is part one. We'll come back and we'll do another part. We love you, man. We appreciate you. We acknowledge and recognize your work.
Thank you.
And keep doing that work. Any shout out you want to make?
Shout out to the crew. Shout out to my family. You feel me? I'm gonna save it for now because I got the list on my phone for the Olympics. I'm ready. Y'all don't understand, bro. This has been my entire life.
That media moment is coming.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be long. It's gonna be like, if you guys know, J. Cole, note to self. This is the credits. If you don't want to stay for the end credits, get out. It's mine.
I see what you did there.
You know what I mean?
That was well played, well crafted. I see you still eating my candy too. I noticed that. No, you can have it. I don't.
Listen, yeah. Shout out to USA Taekwondo. Shout out to all the kids out there. You feel me? I appreciate all of you guys, all the love, all the messages. You know, I really, 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 really do appreciate it, and it keeps me going. It keeps me motivated in times that I didn't even realize that I needed it. So, keep being you guys. Keep being great.
All right, it's Coach Nelson, CJ Nickolas. We kicked it. Woo-cha! We'll see you next time.